Okay, I have made a tier list consisting of all 252 pets in Super Auto Pets with a little bit of assistance from chat. Did this on stream, so got some other people's opinions in there. People's whose opinions I do respect for things like, Starfish, which I don't usually play a lot because I don't play a ton of Pack 3, but turns out it's really good, so they convinced me it was in S tier. But I'm not going to go over every single pet. I'm just going to go over the things that are in S tier and pretty much the things that are in D and F tier. So to start, there's going to be a lot of scalers like T-Rex, which is free scaling for your best units. So it's one of the best pets in the game, even though it still got nerfed. Melon Armor can be such a huge difference maker. You can get double value out of your biggest unit. Snake, one of the best tempo options, like some of the best abilities, just sniping things can be so good for removing Melon or just killing things like countering summons. Overall, like almost always helpful. Fly is a great unit with Snake. It's also great with Shark. It's also great with summons. It's also great at popping Melon. So many useful purposes. Monkey, one of the best scalers for just single target, buffing like a good tier 6 in the front. Stingray is a great option for Stinky Sock, where you can have two 50-50s, one shot another 50-50 through Melon with Stinky Sock, or you can go Flashlight and get a ton of scaling that way. Starfish, great scaler in Pack 3. Cat is a great scaler in Pack 1. I should probably say Turtle Pack and Star Pack instead. Sabretooth is one of the best abilities you can have. Automatically a free 6/6, plus you can get multiple triggers, and that's at just level 1. 18/18 at level 3, pretty insane. Stego, one of the best just like non-scaling options in the game. Ox is a melon that you can get on turn 3, which is pretty insane. Best possible buff target pretty much, not a ton of counters. Skunk, one of the best abilities in the game, and it's a tier 4. You can just absolutely destroy people like Skunk, Snake, Fly, or something like that, and not have any scaling at all. Shark, if you high roll some pills, is absolutely massive. In Turtle Pack, you can get a really big shark really quickly if you get lucky. And Camel, its hurt ability can just like spiral out of control. It is a great buff target, and it forces your opponent to have like Skunk or Scorpion or some kind of counter. Otherwise, if you just have big Camel, sometimes it's unstoppable. So then there's a whole bunch of pets in A and B tier. I would say the majority probably fall into these categories, and a decent amount into C tier. And now we'll go into D tier and F tier, which are the pets that probably need a buff. So Chameleon was nerfed pretty hard and is now like not a really valid option. I mean, you can maybe take it for like a turn if you have like Flashlight or something, but it's pretty rare you actually keep that on board. Buffalo, it's just the buy sell synergy is really not worth it in most situations, I guess. Its scaling is just too slow and kind of awkward. Puffin, its ability, unfortunately, just not useful enough early on. Robin, kind of the same thing, forces you out of 4 squad for very small reward, not really worth it. Wasp, its scaling is again very awkward, ton of attack. Need to have like a perfect situation for Wasp to actually be good, maybe with like Lollipop and some other stuff. Wombat, also way too situational. Things that depend on your opponent's team are not going to be super helpful. Panda is a weird one, but also kind of forces you to have a 4 squad. You can kind of make Panda work if you really high roll a bunch of Pandas, I suppose, but usually you don't see people going for it because it's not generally worth it. Jeroboa, way too specific. Again, like it's so rare that you actually get to use it. You have to have pretty much customs. Most of this tier list is based around playing in lobbies and playing 1v1s and then playing some arena. It's kind of a combination of all three, but it's mostly for the static packs and like weekly packs, and that's kind of it. Not too much balanced around custom packs. Cockroach, just generally not the tier 1 that you want. You generally want tier 1s that will give you some kind of advantage, like Duck or something, and give you stats. Cola, just not a very helpful unit, not really worth it to buy, bad stats, and not a significant enough buff. Frill Dragon, again, like another very specific situation where there just has to be a bunch of faint pets and like not much else to go for. Plus it's dice to like Mosquito and stuff. Bison, just you don't want level 3s anymore. Well, I mean, it's pretty rare to go for level 3s. Maybe like level 3 fish or something. But most of the time you're selling off your tier 1s or your like earlier units, so you don't actually really keep a level 3, maybe except for Dragonflight. And even if you do get a level 3, its scaling now is like not much of an advantage, so pretty bad. Squirrel is just like, I mean, it's so rare that you get a ton of value out of Squirrel. It's usually like you get a 1 gold discount, which is like a Swan, which is a tier 2, so it's not very helpful. Sea Turtle is just like, you're not really going summons early on, so you don't really end up caring about it. Vaquita, not really going trumpets all that much early on, so you probably don't care too much about that. High Tamarin is just the worst tier 1 in Golden Pack, really don't want to buy it. Llama forces you to run a 4 squad for very minimal amount of scaling, ends up not really being worth it. And Bear, I mean, it's a 3-5, and its ability sometimes is actually helpful, but in general, it's mostly like a troll unit. And then in F tier, we have Aardvark, just like, I mean, it's a counter to summons early on when summons are like, it's just such a weird unit that you never really take. Hyena, so rare that Hyena actually works out. It's a fun idea, but never really actually works. Vulture, it's just too late, I guess. Its stats are too small as a tier 4, and it's kind of awkward to have as a buff target. Plus, you have to have like a good feint ability behind it. It's just too awkward. Frigabird, I have no idea why its ability gives rice. It just seems so pointless, and like you have to have your opponents have weakness or apply weakness to you. Tamarin is just an absolute waste of stats. Like you have to get level 3 in order to actually make it efficient, and most of the time level 3s are such a huge investment and require way too much RNG to get, so it just ends up not being worth it. And then, I'm sorry to the Sloth, it's a 1-1. It believes in you, which is cool, but you still suck. I mean, you can't just, like, you gotta face the facts, so I'm sorry. Sloth is the worst in the game. But that's all for the tier list. Feel free to just shout at me about how wrong I am about a lot of these pets. There's 252 of them, so I'm guaranteed to be wrong about some of them, but I've played this game for 2,000 hours or whatever, and I have a ton of experience, and this is just my opinion, but thanks for watching. See ya.